Now coming to the next one, that is in Darwin's theory. The fourth one is the variations. So here the variations means the differences present in different characters present in an individuals of a common descent we can call as an variations. It is it can be defined as differences present different characters present in an individual of common descent are called as a variation. So here variation means the differences present in an organism or individual. The differences present in an individual organism where they are differ from one person to the another person. Likewise, how the fingerprints are present in, they differ from one person to the another person. Here the variations of the characters. The characters which are presenting, they are variation. That means if we take a place a twins, for example, twins, here morphologically they look like the same only, but genetically, that means when you coming to the characteristic, here the characters are differ from one person to the another person. That means same two persons does not having the same type of characters are not be presenting. Like how the fingerprints are presenting, they differ from one person to the another person. The fingerprints are varies from one person to another person. Likewise, the characters present in an organism or individual person will varies from one person to the another person. These characters are varies. So this type of character we can call as a variation. So here according to these variations, here it shows that according to Darwin's, it shows that the variations are the an evolution. That means variations are the raw material for the an evolution. Here according to Darwin's, variations are the variations are the raw materials evolution. That means these are helpful for the producing of a genetical makeup. That means variation will show the genetical makeup present in an organism. They having the changing. That means not in an organism and not in a population. Here it shows the genetical makeup present in an individual that will be changing from one person to another person. Where here these variation will show the characters. That means various characters are genetical modified characters are produced where here the organisms can be able to survive in the nature. The genetical variations which are not presenting in the nature organism, gradually such species will delegate or exit from the natural selection and they becomes into an extinct species. So such type of variation called as it is also one of the an important character, that is variations of the raw material for the evolution. And here the variations are classified into three types. Here these are classified into three types. useful variations, and the second one is harmful variations, and the third one is neutral variations, and also based on environmental factors. Here these are also classified into environmental variations, and lastly it shows that the genetical variations. So these are the 5 type of the variations, where we have already said 3, but according to the environmental factors and genetical, these are also classified into 2 types. One is environmental as well as genetical. So totally there are 5 variations are presenting. One is useful variation, and second one is a harmful variation, and the third one is neutral variation, and the fourth one is environmental variations, and lastly we can call as a genetical variations. So here useful variations. Here variations already we know that these are the differences presenting different characters present in an individual. So here will show that these variations, the variations which are present in an organism, they are helpful for an organism. They are mainly helpful for an organism for their survival. If the organism, that means the variations, the differences present in an organism, that characters will helpful for the organism to benefit or to survive in the nature than the other organism. Then such type of variations we can call as useful variations. Example, if we take a place, the disease resistance plants. Disease resistance plants. So here the plants which are presenting, some plants will contain disease resistance. Few plants will consist of a disease resistance, so that these few plants can be able to survive than the non-resistance plants. So that what happens, disease resistance will helpful for adapting. A new character is adapting, so that it can be able to survive in the nature. But here in the non-resistant plants does not having the resistance power. So that here what happens, gradually they decrease their number and they become an extinct in nature. So that disease resistant plants will helpful for increasing their number from a generation to a generation, and it is an adaptive character. Adaptive means it is taking a new character is presenting. That new character is helpful for the development of organism. That means it can resist. So that character is helpful for to resist the resistance plants. That means disease resistance will be produced, so that they can be able to adapt in the environment or in the nature, so that character will transfer from a generation to a generation. So here non-resistance will does not having resistance power, so that character will not be presenting. So that gradually what happens, the non-resistant plants are gradually decreases and becomes into an extent. So such type of characters, such type of variations which are helpful for adopting a new variety of characters, which helpful for the survival in the nature or in the environment. So such type of characters are called as useful variations. Next, coming to the second one, harmful variations. Here harmful variation means these are the characters where the less characters are presenting. These less character which is containing in the organism, this character will helpful for the decreasing their number in the nature. That means due to the less characters or less adaptive character. So that what happens due to the less adaptive character, their number gradually will decreases and helpful for deleting in the nature or existing in the nature. So such type of variations are called as harmful variations. Here an example we can take a place. Here an example we can take a place: chlorophyll pigments. If you are lossing of the chlorophyll pigments, here the chlorophyll pigment is lost. If a chlorophyll pigment is lost in plants, it is a harmful character. So when chlorophyll pigment is losing, what happens? They cannot prepare their food materials. Gradually the photosynthesis gradually decreases. So that they are not containing the scarcity of food materials. So gradually that character is that organism, that species are gradually decreases in the nature or the environment. Where here the lossing of the chlorophyll pigment is called as the harmful variations. And third one, neutral variations. These variations, that means with name only indicating neutral. Here they are not having either benefited nor loss. The variation or the characters which are present in an organism, these characters either useful or does not having harmful. They are neither useful nor harmful. So such type of characters we can call as neutral variations. Where here we can take on place the availability of the stem and variations of leaf. Example we can take a place. Example for neutral variations, we can take a place the variety of leaves. The variation of a leaf. The variation of leaf or the variation of stem. Variation of a stem and fruit development, fruit formation, otherwise fruit formation. So here these are the examples. These are either benefited or useful or harmful. That means these are in neutral in condition. They are either useful or harmful. So such type of characters where they are presenting of the variations which are presenting in an organisms. So this we can call as a neutral variations. And environmental variations. Here environmental variations which are affecting on the environment. Here environment either in the food or shelter or drought or otherwise floods in this region, it is affecting the various types of characters which can be adapted. So such type of characters we can call as an environmental variations. So this environmental variation does not having any significant role. It does not play. It does not have a significant role. It does not have a significant role. This does not have these environmental variations does not play any important role in the evolution. That means here this character does not have any important. So such type of characters are called as an environmental variations. And lastly, coming to the last one, the genetical variations. Here genetical variations mean here are the variations, the characters which are present in an individuals or the common ancestors by the genetical makeup in a population. Here by genetical makeup in the population, here it shows a very significant role in an organisms. By means here a new characters are producing here a new genetical makeup. A new genetical makeup is taken place due to the new genetical makeup. Here what happens means here new characters are produced. Here it shows the formation of a new characters. New characters are presenting. When new characters are produced, here it is helpful for the formation of a new species. New species formation is taken place where these are presenting. That means in a population these are presenting. These are helpful for genetical makeup in an individual, where it shows the individual organism is having new characters are producing. That means they are already presented. That presented is helpful for producing of a new characters. That new characters is helpful for the formation of a new species formation is taken place. These new species will transfer from the new characters which are presented in new species in organism. These characters will transfer from a generation to a generation, so that a new species organisms are produced in the nature. So these are the 5 types of variations. That is useful variations, a harmful variation, a neutral variation, environmental variation, as well as the genetical variations. So this is the 4th one, where here these 4th one, that is variation, and here in the genetical variation, here these are having very significant role in the evolution. The genetical evolution, genetical variation plays a very important role. An important role in evolution. Why they play a very important role in evolution means here a new characters are producing. So when new characters are produced, a new organisms or new species of formation is taken place. So that here the genetical variation will play a very important role in the evolution. For that only I said here the variations are the raw materials for the evolution. That is the 4th character. Next, coming to the last one, that is survival for fittest. So here survival in the fittest. That means the organisms which are struggled in the, that means the organisms which are competed among the organisms, that species will survive, and that species only will increase their number. That means they are fittest. That means here they will adjust. That means these species only will helpful for increasing their number, and such type of process we can call as a survival for the fittest. That means the organisms that possesses the favorable variations, that possesses organisms that possess a favorable variation succeed in struggle for existence. The organisms that possesses the organisms, the organisms, the organisms, the organisms which and this which organisms which produce variations, which produce variation will succeed, or they succeed in survival for struggle for succeed for struggle for existence. Then the organisms which produce variations will succeed for the struggle for existence. Struggle for existence, which this process is called as the survival for the fittest. That means the organisms where it shows the variations. Here the variation means genetical makeup in an organism. That means new characters are produced. That new characters is helpful for the struggle for existence. Struggle for existence here for this new characters will helpful for the competing. That means these are helpful for the competitive with the same species or different species, so that when they struggle here they can able to survival in the nature. So for the struggle for existence provides the survival for the nature, and this process is called as the survival for the fittest. That means the organisms which are struggle, which shows the variation, and the variations will helpful for the struggling for the existence. That means to struggle the competitive among the organism. These helpful for the producing of the variation characters. New characters are produced. These new characters is helpful for the struggling or competing with other species. So when they are competitive, the species which are struggle, they only will survival, and that organism is helpful for fit. That means it helpful for adapting in the environment. That species, the fitting of a species, that means the species which are fitted, that species only will transfer from a generation to a generation. So such type of process is called as the survival for the fittest. Example will take place here in example. Here we take place Darwin's examples for Darwinism. Darwinism. We take place first one, resistance to antibiotics. Antibiotics. Resistance to antibiotics. And the second one is the longer neck echinopia. The long survival of long neck echinopia. So these are the two examples where they can be able to relate it with the survival for the fittest. Here, if it takes place a resistance for the antibiotics, if they, for example, if they are resistant, the bacterial cells are resistant to penicillin. The bacterial cells are resistant to penicillin. They can able to survival, and non-resistance bacterial cell, non-resistance bacterial cells cannot able to survival. That means they cannot. They helpful for killing of. That means non-resistant bacterial will assist with the penicillin, so that the non-resistant bacterial cells gradually decreases. So when they are decreasing, gradually they extinct into the nature, and the bacterial cells are resistant. That means these bacterial cells which are resistant to the penicillin, these species, bacterial cells resistant to penicillin, these species will gradually increase their number from a generation to a generation. And otherwise, second example, if you take a place, a long neck of giraffe. In olden days, here short neck, very more are short neck, and a few are a long neck. So here, when these take place, here more are short neck. So due to the scarcity of food materials and the competition is taken place, here the scarcity, that food is not available. Food is not available. Here what happens? The short neck giraffe does not produce. They cannot be able to get food materials. I mean, in the leaves of tall plants does not be able to take place. But the long neck giraffe can be able to stretch. The long neck is presenting so that they can be able to catch the leaves of the plants, so that they can be able to survive. So here they get food materials. Materials are available, are taken place. Food materials are taken place by the long neck, so that here the long neck giraffe get able to get food material. So their number is gradually increases. I mean, here they can be able to get food materials. Here short neck, they cannot be able to get the food materials. So here short neck giraffe, due to the lack of food materials, they gradually decrease their number and becomes into an extinct. But here due to producing, that means here long neck giraffe is able to get food materials. So that what happens, their number is gradually increases. So that their number is increases and they can able to survive in nature, that is survival for the fittest, so that their species will increase from generation to generations. So these are the 5 characters and examples of the Darwinism, that is resistance to antibiotics, as well as long neck as well as short neck giraffes. So here these are the 2 examples where they explains the survival for the fittest, as well as that is the 4-5 characters. That is production, constancy of size, and third one is variations, and fourth one is the struggle for existence, and the fifth one is the survival for the fittest. These are the Darwin's characters, where these characters are able to utilize these principles, these 5 principles, that is 3 observations and 2 conclusions. 3 observations and 2 conclusions which are explained by Darwin. These principles are utilized up to nowadays also. So that here Darwin is called as the father of an evolution. Why means he have studied over 5 years. He have rotated all over the world in a ship called as Yanamadala. Here the ship name is Yanamadala, where he rotated. He traveled throughout the world, where he collected various plants and animal species, an animal species and also collected the fossils, that is the extinct species also. Extinct species also he collected. Where he written that all where he traveled in 5 years, he titled the book called as The Origin of a Species. The origin of a species by the natural selection. In this book he written is all five principles. That is 2, 3 observations and 2 conclusions, where these are explained by the Darwin'S. So that here these principles are nowadays also up to now. This generation also we are utilizing, so that here father, that is Darwin'S, is called as father of an evolution. So in next class we will discuss the evidences for the evolution. What are the evidences? Here it shows that morphological evolutions, physiological, biochemical, paleontology, that is fossil fuels, will show that the evidences, that various types of evidences will show how the evolution is produced in an environment or in the nature. That we will discuss in the next